Picks and Bets show on the Mayo Media Network, presented by Prize Picks. I am Matt Moody, joined by DJ Mitchell to cover February 25th, Thursday, NHL hockey. DJ, how you doing?
Doing very well. I got, like I said right before we started, I got a Top Shots pack, and I was actually thinking before we started, we need the NHL. I mean, getting past like, can they just do it? Can they do NHL like Hot Shots? Like, I just copy them exactly what they did. Just do the whole thing and get that in my life right now. If you don't know what we're talking about, I'm not going to waste your time. If you want to hear more. If you want to hear more, just go to anyone that's a tout, and they're probably talking about it.
Go to anywhere on Twitter. Yeah,
just go on Twitter and just look at it. And like, oh, there it is. But yeah, Matt, doing well. How about you?
Yeah, no, I'm still waiting for my my COVID shot, unlike you. So congratulations to you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Let us know how you're feeling. Give us the update on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah, I'm still moving.
Yeah, so
feeling great. Never stronger.
I don't really know if we want to talk too much about Tuesday, but you had some good bets. I did not. I really screwed the pooch on Tuesday betting. So I've learned from many of my mistakes, and I think I've come back better and stronger. And I think you're going to keep your hot streak rolling, right?
Yeah, I mean, you follow up a huge double parlay hit with a Top Shot pack. I mean, that's really what dreams are made of in this world. So yeah, I liked what I had going. I liked my process a little bit, and there's a couple of things that I was a little bit, I wouldn't say were a huge stretch, but a couple of things that, in retrospect, maybe were stone cold locks. But Pettersson, I was worried I'd be up to 1 a.m. sweating out the Pettersson point, and first shift of the game, he's getting off the ice, just passes it over to, I think it was Hughes or Myers, or who was it that got the assist? I can't remember.
I think it was maybe Hughes up to Horvat.
I think it was right. Hughes, and then Horvat shoots it from literally the Patrick Kane Stanley Cup winning shot. It looked identical, honestly. That's all I could think of. I was like, yep, this is where moments are made in this corner here. So yeah, no, hit a big one. So tail me, just jump aboard, follow me on Twitter. We're only hitting big ones from now on.
That's it. So what we do here is we go game by game through the Thursday slate. We talk DFS, we talk bets, we just talk news in general, and we have some big news on this slate. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about Prize Picks. They're the title sponsor of this show. So make sure you head over to prizepicks.com and sign up using the promo code MMN. What you do there is you pick the over or the under on fantasy scores. So for example, in hockey, you get 3 points for a goal, 2 points for an assist, and a half point for a blocked shot or a shot on goal. So you can find our favorite picks for the Thursday slate over on our Twitter feed at Mayo Media Net. So be sure to check that out. And make sure you use the promo code MMN when you sign up. So
all right.
DJ, let's talk about Thursday.
All right. Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting slate. I think that the number one thing is 7 of the games are at 7 p.m. And then we get, the great honor of Nashville and Detroit being the only game on for intermission there until the 8 o'clock game, Montreal and Winnipeg, which the big news broke. Claude Julien getting fired during the Fantasy Hockey Picks and Bets show with Pete Jensen and Chris Meany. Meany, being a Montreal Canadiens fan, obviously was shocked. It was made for some pretty funny, good commentary there. I don't know if you listened along that as well, but it was a really good show. So definitely also check them out while we're, talking here. Make sure to follow all of the shows on YouTube and everywhere. I'm sure you are already. But yeah, so it's a very, 9 games are going to finish up pretty fast, everything before 8 p.m. Eastern time start. And then we get the 10 o'clock, 6.5 hammer with Edmonton at Vancouver. So overall, I think, the games align pretty nicely. I like a couple of them that I don't think Matt likes as much, but we're just going to go game by game here. We'll get right to it. So Matt, any preliminary notes before we get to Boston at the Islanders?
Yeah, like a 10 gamer is always, they're always fun. They're definitely slogs to get through, just so many games, so many picks, so many bets, all that. If you want to hear us talk about the DFS portion of it, make sure you check out the Morning Skate podcast at Morning Skate Pod on Twitter. We go pretty in depth on players by position. Here we go by game, though. We'll also include some of our favorite bets. So let's start over with Boston at the Islanders. This game, Boston is a minor favorite, minus 129. The over-under right now listed at a 5. The DJ, it's pretty rare we get these fives. In this modern NHL, does this feel like an automatic over bet to you, or do you think the Islanders play Islanders hockey and keep this game 2-1 type game?
I mean, automatic over is tough when you're talking about the Islanders. I mean, you think about it, it's like, oh, it's normally a 5.5. That's what I expected. Now it's a 5. It's like, so, you're just losing equity on the push. I mean, if it's 3-2 or 4-1 or something like that, you're just going to push instead, which makes it a little bit different. But I think if you really like the over or under for whatever reason, I stick to your script. I don't think it makes it an unbelievably huge difference. I'm personally not going to touch the over under in this one. Just don't really feel a need. I don't really feel like this game needs to be too heavily involved in general in your process. It's just not an exciting game. I don't expect the pace to be super high. The big note that we got from the last time Boston played was they went back to the perfection line. Pastrnak had a hat trick. They played with Marchand and Bergeron. So all three of those guys are your most likely to score players. Pastrnak normally, a little bit, I guess, worse odds to score, but plus 130 is, I guess somewhat enticing as he is just the premium, goal scorer, maybe one of the in the league. I mean, one of the maybe top 2 or 3. So I never hate to see that when you get someone at those kind of odds. To get a point odds are kind of not great here. If you don't like this game for an over, it's like, are you really going to say minus 265 for Marchand to have a point or something? Are you going to go multi-point? Probably not. So I'm not saying it's a stone cold dud. It's a stone cold stay away all around. I mean, there's a couple of shot props I don't hate. People are still going to shoot in this game. I think Pastrnak, Lee, those are kind of the two that stand out among the rest. But I'm overall leaning towards just not including this much in big parlays. I'm not, if I do it, I'm probably not going to do a 10 gamer. And just sort of more staying away and not doing a whole lot. I'm not sure about you.
Yeah, no, I mean, this game certainly some of the worst underlying numbers as well, just in terms of pace. So not a whole lot I love from a game, betting sides here. I do think there is, some equity to betting some of these, shot unders, believe it or not. Like, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to think Pastrnak gets held below 3.5. That's plus 115 if you want to bet the under there. He certainly could, 5 shots on goal and a goal or whatever, but it just feels a little high for, the projected pace of this matchup, especially if the Islanders can stay out of the box. That's where a lot of his best work is done. And I don't think that this Islanders team is anywhere close to the, ragtag team of COVID-stricken Flyers that we saw in Lake Tahoe. Like, just a very different situation there for Pasta. But in general, I think I'm just staying away. I'm not looking to get too crazy here. But definitely some value. And, DFS is going to be super low owned and all that. But I
really don't mind just saying the no to a point with like a Brock Nelson or someone of that nature, a guy that's not in the first power play. Minus 148. It's not great. I mean, you're not going to get a ton of equity on it to make it super worthwhile. But, if you'd like this game to be under 5 goals, if there's the Islanders score, then, 2 on average, it's kind of the prediction. How many times they score 2 goals and Brock Nelson doesn't get a point on it? It seems there's a decent amount of equity there, like as a player to exclude. Barzal minus or plus 140 not have a point. Again, it's in their own possibility. That might be the way to go about this. So I like what you said there, but get to a more exciting game, a 6.5 if you're ready, with Pittsburgh at Washington. We're in the Mario Lemieux jersey. I don't know. Why not? Felt like fun.
So Pittsburgh at Washington. The big news here is the status of Chris Letang. We probably should get clarity in morning skate, how Letang's looking, if he's able to go or not. He left Tuesday's game early, did not return. If he does not return, we would expect one of, we're not sure which, but hopefully we'd get clarity there, of P.E. Joseph, Mike Matheson, or John Marino to sort of step onto that top power play with Sid, Gino, Malkin, and Rust. So right away, that creates like an obvious value spot in DFS. Definitely would be a big blow to the blue line in general for, betting purposes. Would probably have me favoring Washington here. This game right now is priced as basically a pick'em. You can get minus 108 on Pittsburgh, minus 106 on Washington. So I kind of am favoring the Washington side here. We saw Pittsburgh kind of roll over the Caps last game in terms of, just shots on net and the end up on the scoreboard. But how do you feel about this game?
Yeah, no, I agree, especially if Letang is out. I mean, it really opens it up for Washington. Pittsburgh's defense has already been very, very bad. They lose the guy that's been the best of a bad situation, and I think, Washington can bounce back and get a win at home. I'm pretty in on that call. I'm not, the over-under, I think I'm maybe slightly more on the under just because, Letang coming out, it might make it a little differently for what they do and hurt the power play for Pittsburgh where they've done a lot of damage, but I'm not super strong on that. I think I'd rather just, if I'm betting the lines, take the Washington side of this, move on, and then get to the player props where, again, like you said, the pace was decent last game. Was that fair to say? I would say decent to good and
Yeah, no,
range,
it was,
and probably should stay there. I mean, I would love to get something with Matheson, but I doubt you're going to find much of him. If he's on the first power play, he's get to get a point. If you find it somewhere, good luck, because it could be something worth playing. It might be really good odds, but I think, the shot props could be interesting here. There's none on DraftKings that super duper stand out to me. Malkin has been shooting a bit more as of late, so his odds at 2.5 have finally gone to being negative to take, which again doesn't feel great. I've been kind of like really teetering on it a lot. I ended up taking him to get a point instead because I just kind of like what he's been doing and involved in the offense. That those odds got worse, obviously, but I think one of these shot props could be the one. Is there one that you like maybe the most?
Yeah, I mean, I like Sid, I think, over 2.5. That line just was really, really good last game. Capping in on that line, like, they had an expected goals rate of 80%. Like, that's crazy. Very, very good. So I think getting pieces of Crosby, that just seems a little bit, weak in terms of his shot prop in for a game that I like. I like the tempo. I don't necessarily think there'll be a ton of goals. They seem to have found, Tristan Jarry's game after a tough start to the year. So we'll see if that holds. But in general, I think Sid and that top line is a great place to build around. And one note for Washington is that they did play Lars Eller as OV center. Last game, it didn't really turn into much. However, they did, when they were on the ice, they performed pretty well. Don't know if that'll, protect them from being split up or anything, but just noteworthy that neither Kuznetsov nor Backstrom will be centering Ovechkin should things not change.
And just DFS wise with that, I mean, Ovi is a guy that stays on both power plays. So if you like Eller and you're like, oh man, they're not on the same power play, it's like, well, Ovi just doesn't come off the ice. So Eller could very reasonably be out there passing him a puck for a one-timer goal. So don't be afraid of that. Just kind of a note, I guess, with how
good call.
Power play.
Good call. All right, so
go over to Carolina, Tampa.
Yeah, Carolina, Tampa. This game rematch of Wednesday's matchup, and also I think a rematch of Sunday. They played recently, as well beyond just Wednesday. So Tampa at home -139. The over/under is a 6. DJ, how are you feeling about this one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of getting back to the over. I know it hasn't hit. They had the 1-6 game. They've actually, for Carolina, this is the 4th game against Tampa Bay in a row. Very weirdly enough. I think that holds water. And I think that, the 4-0, then 2-4, then 3-0, kind of back and forth here or there. I'm not getting it, but I really like this matchup. I think that there's a ton of pace, and we didn't quite get that in the Wednesday showdown between the two, but I think we're going to get it here.
Yeah, we got the pace. Vasilevsky was crazy good.
Yeah.
Definitely stole that one.
Well, I mean, the shots weren't, the pace, I guess, being there or not, but I mean, the shots weren't as high as I guess I'd hope they would be here, but more of what I was trying to get to. But yeah, I think we're going to make it back to it. I think I like the over. I don't think it's a coin flip by any stretch. I think Tampa should be slightly favored here, but I don't think it's anything where I'm, going crazy in on it.
Let's talk some news here, because there is some, very impactful decisions that were made, especially on the Tampa side, basically flip-flopping some of their wingers around. So Stamkos moves off the top line. Blake Coleman slides up to that top line with Point and Palat. Blake Coleman in those 2 games since he's been moved has been very, very productive. Putting up tons of shots, I believe even hitting the blocks bonus 2 games ago, and then scoring a goal on Wednesday. So that right away, I think, is a really obvious value spot. Blake Coleman, dating back to last year, was just like a really, really good rates player in New Jersey, and then got traded and sort of played in this like defensive shutdown role. Never really got to shine in the way that he is now on that top line. So looking at his to score odds, he's at plus 290. That's close, but not directly equal to guys like Nino Niederreiter, Vinny Trocheck. Svechnikov is at plus 240. So you're getting a little bit of value, I think, on Coleman just for the rate shooter he is. But any other thoughts, player prop wise, I guess, or anything on the Carolina side to monitor?
No, I mean, Coleman was definitely one of my favorite plays of the night, definitely in DraftKings FanDuel, but also I think you could consider his to score a goal. I wish we had a few more odds on him. I'd love his shot prop if we had one. I don't think we're going to get one anywhere, but I do really like Svechnikov's as well. Playing with Aho, I think they're going to be setting up Svechnikov first power play as well. Minus 118 for over 2.5. I think that's pretty strong. I think both of these defensemen, Hedman and Hamilton, are also pretty strong. Hamilton 3.5 over is a little tough. I mean, I don't think quite a 50-50 by any stretch. I mean, he's done it. He has, if you look at his game logs, you see 8 shots, you see 5 shots. You also see some 1s and 2s in there. So it's not any means a lock, but if you like this game, you like the pace, Hamilton's going to be involved shooting the puck. So I do like the pace, and I think one of these shot on goal metrics is where I'm going to end up landing on the game as my favorite. Svechnikov up there. I just don't think you're getting a ton of equity on points and stuff, like just to get
the player prop. The player prop I like the most is that Svechnikov number. So as you mentioned, Aho and Svechnikov should be playing together. They could flip things up after their loss Wednesday. We'll find out in pregame warmups. But on the season, Andrei Svechnikov is basically at I believe it's at a 19 iCorsi per 60. Just as he's at 20. And basically as a rule of thumb, 18 is about elite, I would say. And, guys like Ovi are at the 23 to 24 mark historically per 60 minutes. So when you're talking, that's basically top 30 in the NHL, maybe even top 20 for Svechnikov. Sebastian Aho's, down at 13-ish, which is about, league average to good. So Svechnikov is just shooting way more than Aho is. They're playing the exact same situations. So I just think that basically getting the same odds for both of them, it's easy. It's Svechnikov for me. And I think that's my favorite player prop of this game. Any other thoughts before we move off of this one?
No, I'm glad we teamed up and loved Svechnikov together. That was great, Matt. That's the podcast, teamwork to make the dream work. So that'll bring us over to Chicago and Columbus. Again, on a 5.5. Last game, it went for 11, if you include the shootout. I personally am not liking that to repeat. I don't really think it's there. I think it's a little bit thin to me. Again, like the 5.5, I'm probably just not going to touch because clearly the goaltenders can do what they did last time and not stop pucks. And, Lankinen can not be Lankinen. So I'm probably just going to stay away from the over-under. I slightly like the Columbus side here. I think it's definitely worth betting. I think that they're going to continue to come together, and I think Laine is going to continue to be a really big part of this offense. He's been shooting a bit more. I think they've kind of figured out the lines they want to run, and they're running them. So with that being said, Matt, getting into this game, is there anything off the top? I mean, I know Carl Soderberg goal, you're going to have at least the entire mortgage on that, but what else?
I just wish, I wish we had a crystal ball that someone could tell me, hey, it'll be Carl Soderberg up front on that power play on Tuesday, because, I feel like we were all over it. We were saying hey, there's going to be a job open with Dylan Strome. Someone's going to step in and they're going to be a great play for fantasy. I sort of bet on that being, Ryan Carpenter, because we knew he was on the top power play. Just didn't work out. And Carl Soderberg puts up 3 points, and that's how it falls. But we know that now. So, that's good. We like that news. DraftKings has not priced up Soderberg at all on the daily fantasy side. So I love that. My boy, Adam Boakfist, I feel like I've made the Evan Bouchard comparison multiple times across both of the platforms we have. And man, we almost saw it on Tuesday. He put up 4 shots on goal, scored a absolute laser on the power play. So I love Adam Boakfist in all forms. I even don't mind him to score a goal in this one. Columbus, I just don't think is very good. Boakfist on that top power play, plus 550 to just, he has such a good shot. I love him. So it's not my first. Adam
You even know
Boqvist.
him.
I right here, man, right here.
He's listening, so perfect.
I hope so. But otherwise, Patrick Kane, is this guy ever going to stop? Like, yeah, I too like the Columbus side, but man, like, you give Patrick Kane time and space and he's going to make you pay. I think getting on his shot prop, over 3.5 minus 106 just feels like a pretty good investment for this one. I just don't really see a way that, Columbus turns this game into like a 2-1 snoozer type. And I think even if they manage to shut down this Chicago side, it's by stopping Patrick Kane, not necessarily by, limiting him, but just by, making saves on him. So I think the Patrick Kane shots is, pretty nice, but any other player props you like here?
I mean, I like Kubalik and Laine. I mean, Laine's only done it once as of late. He had kind of been this kind of, not shooting the puck guy, and then he gets to the big 2 goals, 1 assist, 6 shots on goal game out of seemingly nowhere. But I think that's going to come together. I really do. I think that he's going to turn it around and start firing pucks from all angles again. They're going to put him, get the power play working and stuff. So I don't mind trying to jump on it while it's, minus 120 from him over 2.5. That just seems, like a misprice at this point, because I do think he's going to be shooting a lot more. But, Kubalik plus 105. And again, like, I think Kubalik is just going to always be a rate shooter. That is who he is. If the minutes are there, and if we're going to continue to not have Strome, that hopefully should open up some more minutes for him. It wasn't a huge jump by any means. It was, he went from 15 to 14.5. So it was actually a reduction in minutes, and he scored an assist and 6 shots on net. Yeah. But he did see some run on the first power play over Carpenter. I hope that continues. He's cheap on both sites. And he's just a really good player. So both guys are kind of when they get going, they shoot 6 or 7 shots on net. And when they don't, they have none. So it's a little bit risky, but I like both of them a lot, and Kane as well.
Yeah, no, I think this game is, one of the better places, especially in terms of, central focus on a small number of players in a great matchup. So that's why I like this one a lot from betting and from the fantasy side. Let's see. We have some more 7:00 games still. So let's go to Dallas at Florida. This game also played on Wednesday. Florida is just all good, DJ. But so Florida's really controlled the pace of play in both of these. Both the last 2 games that they've played against the Stars. Khudobin definitely stole the show on Wednesday. How does that make you feel about Florida being a slight favorite here, minus 129, 5.5 total? We probably see Jake Ottinger in that and not Anton Khudobin. Does that make you feel like this Florida side is worth a bet?
I do like the Florida side. I mean, I don't think it's incredibly strong by any means, but Dallas has been banged up. They really haven't been that great this year overall. Florida definitely been, one of the leaders as far as kind of coming out of nowhere and leading a division and being this very, very, good team. I mean, they've just been good. They made some acquisitions that I think really benefited them. I mean, even though they lost a couple guys that I thought were pretty good, they made up for it. So I like the Florida side a bit at home. I think that at any point, their goaltending could be a big reason why they lose a couple games. So I don't personally love betting on them a lot. I do like Dallas okay, but I was pretty low on them coming into the year anyways. So I'd take the Florida side here. I think the under is fair enough, but I'm not really going to bet the under here. I think either goalie in this situation could, have a tire come off and they can, go for 4 against, and this game they could definitely hit over 5.5. So slightly on the Florida side, and just not looking at that over under.
Yeah, I certainly respect what Florida, has done this season, and definitely what they've done to the Stars, in these past couple matchups, because they've been sort of, bloodbaths. But I look at these player props and I see Joe Pavelski at these prices, and we're talking a guy who has 9 goals in 14 games. He has 19 points on the year in 14 games. He's coming off of a 2-point game in that win Wednesday. like Joe Pavelski is playing some of the best hockey we've seen from him, which is crazy given his age and given, the relatively low expectations, I think, especially offensively for this Dallas team. And, Pavelski is really dragging them to where they are currently. And I think he's still got a lot of juice left in the tank. I like betting him to get a point minus 125. I think that number is just a really good number. A lot of their offense runs through him. If they do get that offense, I think he's a part of it. And I also like his shots prop, over 2.5 plus 110, setting him up net front. I think I like the points slightly more, but I just think Joe Pavelski in general is a guy who, certainly gets a lot of love around the NHL circles, but maybe I think it's just maybe mispriced here betting wise.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I think I've just been on Florida and kind of off of playing guys against them is they have been, as far as rates are concerned, which is tough because I probably mentioned every show, teams have played a lot of different varying number of minutes in games, but their high danger Corsi against per 60 is the lowest in the league by a decent margin. So they've been really, really good at keeping teams away from, obviously, high danger scoring chances. And that has helped their goaltenders not look terrible, which is, Bobrovsky has still been.
Hasn't helped Bob.
Hasn't helped Bob. And that's what I mean. It's like, man, like this Florida team is really finding a way to keep teams from having high danger scoring chances, and they're still letting in goals. So that's why I worry about the over-under, in case you're wondering where that came from at all. Sometimes I feel like I'm not explaining my math enough, not showing it. So I'm
show
trying to do that a little
yep.
more. So I'm just trying to show my work here. And that's why, I'm not super in on Dallas, but the concentration of minutes and offense is why Pavelski is still a really strong, at least 1 point, minus 125. I mean, I jam that in. So
sure. Let's keep this moving. Let's go to Calgary at Ottawa, the matchup of the Kachucks. Calgary coming off of a road back-to-back, having just lost in overtime to the Leafs on Wednesday. Ottawa plus 140 home dogs, Calgary minus 165 on the road. 6.5 over under. DJ, the Kachuk brother narrative. Yeah. Can we bet the Gordie Howe hat trick for Brady? Like, is that an option? Can we just find that somewhere? Like, someone post that?
It feels like something like Barstool would have, but I mean, yeah, no, I again, this game, I really do like Calgary a lot. They've been one of the better teams as far as having the high danger Corsi per 60 in the league. They're, the problem is they play Canadian teams, so it's literally they're 3 in the top, 4 in the top 6, 5 in the top 7. And the 8th is Ottawa. Like, it's all in the top 8. It's all Canadian teams. So it's really hard to get good numbers on that because they're all just shooting and having a lot of fun and, just up north of the border having a party. But against, this Ottawa team, I don't think I need to, I don't want to blow the doors off, but this Ottawa team's been really bad. They still are really bad. They give up a ton of Corsi against. And I think that a guy like Brady, oh my God. Well, I think really both the Chucks, but Matt Tkachuk is a really nice guy to have the over on the shots. 2.5 minus 177 isn't my favorite thing in the world. I almost wish it was a 3, a little bit closer to the median there, but I still think it's not a mortal lock, but it's really strong. I really like him to have 2 points plus 320. That might be where I end up landing on this. He's one of my favorite plays of the night. By guaranteed goal on the MSP, so I'm very, very in on him.
Yeah, with Sean Monahan back in the fold, I think that, Elias Lindholm slides down back to centering Kachuk, and those two guys have just been playing really well this year. So I do like that. I think from a DFS side, this Calgary team is just too cheap. Rasmus Anderson back on the top power play. So I think there are, a number of reasons to back the Calgary Flames here, both betting, Matt Kachuk overs and things like that, and also in daily fantasy. Do you have anything on the Ottawa side? I think we're pretty much in agreement that Brady Tkachuk runs the show here. Guys who he plays with are also pretty good, but not really bet worthy in my opinion. So, let's just move from there to New Jersey at Buffalo. Buffalo at home, basically a pick 'em minus 112 on Buffalo, minus 104 on the Devils. Over 5.5. This was one of my best bets on Tuesday. It did not pay off. Fun fact: when you look at the expected goals in that game, it was actually higher than the Chicago Columbus game, which they scored 11 goals. So, I'll lick my wounds and, take an L there. But I'm right back on this Buffalo side. Like, I think this game has a lot of pace. I think Eichel he's playing really well, and they're just giving so many minutes to him, Reinhart, and Olofsson. It doesn't seem that complicated to just say, hey, the best players in the highest tempo games, this is one of them. And I don't think it'll be treated with nearly enough respect in DFS, just with Edmonton, Vancouver on the slate, which we'll get to, this Calgary, Ottawa game, even Pittsburgh, Washington, and Chicago, Columbus. There's so many spots to go to. I just think that Buffalo, is one of the best values in terms of both ownership and in terms of salary. So talk to me a little bit about your thoughts on this game, particularly from a betting standpoint.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite is just Jack Hughes to score plus 310. I do not understand that. He has been shooting a lot more.
He's good.
He's really good at hockey. He just missed like twice in that game. Does not make any sense to me that he's this. It feels like a clear misprice.
Do you know who has better odds to score, DJ?
Jeff Skinner.
Jeff Skinner.
And Miles Wood. It's like I do not understand that. Miles Wood.
Miles Wood's an
scores against the Sabres. Yeah. So I'm just saying, but like it doesn't make any sense. He is their best offensive player, and he's way down the list. Not just gonna get in on that. I think that another one, if you do like this game as much as Matt, is just the Jack Eichel 2 points. He hasn't been able to bury too many this year, but at the same time, he is all over the ice, all over the offense.
I think he had 3 crossbars on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Come on.
And him with Olofsson and Reinhart, I think that line's just clicking on all ends. So, I just see no reason why you couldn't jam that together. So I'm in on it. I'm in on Buffalo 1. I can't wait to get hurt again. I'm ready. I'm going to be just sitting there, just it'd be great. It'd be great.
Yeah. These Jack Hughes point props, I think I like too. If you're talking, over 10-1 long shot type bets, Jack Hughes 3 points isn't, I think that's one of the better, just like 14-1 bets you'll find. Because again, I'm betting on the tempo in this game, and I'm betting on the goalies not being nearly as good as they were on Tuesday because, that's what I do. I just sort of ignore goalies for better or for worse.
Shot prop. I mean, honestly, 3 games in a row, he's hit that. And his shot prop is still plus 130, 2.5, and he's done that 3 games in a row. And it really like the pace of Buffalo. They gave up 42 on Omar last game. Everything about this game. I mean, I think that it's Jack Hughes and Eichel, and let's get after it.
All right, we finally got past the 7:00 starts. Let's get to the 7:30. The intermission. Maybe you want to take a nap. The first intermission. Just flip on Nashville at Detroit because this one's priced at a 5.5, and Nashville road favorites minus 155. For me, I think the under here hits. I'm surprised this one's not a 5 when Boston Islanders is a 5. Mm-hmm. And we did see, this game on Tuesday, and I believe it was 3-0 in the Nashville favor. So, that's I think that's an easy under on this one for me.
Yeah, under Nashville, Roman Josi shots. 3.5 is a little bit tight, but I think he does that more often than not, especially in this matchup. I'm kind of waiting for a little bit more numbers, but it seems that Detroit gives up a lot of shots to defensemen. I'm not entirely positive on that quite yet. And I don't want to sink too much time into it because we haven't had the games to really give me good enough numbers, but it does seem that could be a narrative. They've actually been halfway decent at cutting down high danger scoring Corsi compared to the field, which leads me to believe that they're probably getting up more shots to the point. So I just need to do a little more research on that myself. But, they actually haven't been a train wreck defensively is basically what I'm getting to overall. And I think that this game goes under. It's not safe always because, you never know with a couple bounces and you miss it. But Josi, I do really like plus 115 for over 3.5. I think he has 4 or 5.
Yeah, if we're talking goalies on a DFS slate, I like both these goalies. I think you covered it. Detroit's been fine. What'd you say? Can you do that? As in play both of them?
No. I'm more of can we talk about goalies? I thought we were allergic.
Oh, well, you're not allowed to. I don't want to listen to goalie talk. I'll talk about
Okay.
I'm just messing with you. All right.
Every time I bring it
So
up, I feel like I'm like Matt the dentist, and instead it's really just like Matt goalie. He's like, oh, come on, I have to go. I just went
um,
6 months ago. Okay.
all right. So, I drank the Anthony Mantha Kool-Aid on Tuesday. He put up 0 shots, did absolutely nothing. You watched him play. It actually looked like he was trying to force a trade. Like he was just like lollygagging. Like he looked like Evgeny Malkin, and no one wants to look like Evgeny Malkin on the
Pierre
ice.
Luc
So
Dubois for 500.
yeah, exactly, exactly. It was nuts.
Yeah.
So I'm just not doing it. You can't get me. You can't trick me to betting these player props. I don't trust this game very
All
much.
right. What are the Mantha hat trick odds? Okay, hold on.
Good. One guy on DFS, who should be, at least in consideration as far as like 2.5 type plays on DraftKings. Eli Tolvanen, he's on the top power play at the time being. He has at least 4 shot attempts in each of his last 3 games, and he's minimum salary. So this guy has a ton of prospect pedigree coming in. He's 21, like just a really, really good player. And as long as he's getting the opportunity in the matchup, even though I think this is a slow-paced game, I think that he can certainly get his either through a power play assist and a couple of shots, or by using his wicked shot on the top power play, because we know Nashville needs scorers, and if they're going to put dudes with talent in the position to score, I think we go for it. So that's just one thought I had. Otherwise, the under for me, and I'm good to move on.
All right. To one of my favorite games of the night, the Montreal new coach. No idea how to say his name. Not even going to try. Against Winnipeg. Matt, if you go and say the new Montreal coach's name and give a little bit of insight, potentially, if you want to start right there.
Yeah, I literally don't even have his name in front of me. Ducharme?
Yep, that's
Dominique
perfect.
Ducharme, just like insert new French Canadian guy, and there you go.
The guy that I hadn't heard about 10 hours ago.
Right. Now he's,
whatever.
Now he's an NHL coach. So
yeah,
Claude Julien out, this guy in. One of our lovely Morningscape Pod Discord members mentioned on a radio show in Ottawa, they had a Montreal beat writer on who mentioned that he loved to, quote, shorten his bench and roll his top guys. That's not been a Montreal tenet for quite some time. I don't know how much I buy it right away, but if you're in the mood for some narratives, Brendan Gallagher, this guy plays 14, 15, 16 minutes a night, has the best rates in the NHL, basically, in those, short minutes. If he gets more minutes, can he handle the extra workload? I sort of seem to think yes. We saw the same thing with Austin Matthews, not that they're the same caliber, but we saw the same thing. Matthews was playing 16 minutes a night under Babcock. And then all of a sudden, he goes and Matthews is playing 22. And what do you know? He's still really freaking good. So that's one reason I think to, like this game. We know that Winnipeg isn't driving play at all. So Montreal still has that feather in their cap, and maybe we see more minutes for the more talented guys in Montreal. So this game on the road, Montreal a slight favorite, -127. How do you feel about that? Is the Connor Hellebuck fear enough for you to avoid betting that, or do you think that Montreal has this one in the bag, so to speak, for the new coach?
It's so hard because the new coach and everything. The narrative sometimes, I think it can overshadow what's actually going on out there. But Winnipeg hasn't been that great. They're very much an average team, I think. I think what I'm going to end up is liking the Winnipeg side slightly more. Just kind of not trying to be too invested in a new coach. Like they're definitely going to win the game for the new guy. Like I don't know if that really holds a lot of water. But I don't know if I'll be strong enough to actually put money against it. I kind of like the over here more than anything else, but you could get, Connor Hellebuck to stand on his head. And that has happened a lot against Winnipeg, even though their defense and they're giving up a lot of shots again. So you kind of like the over, and then Hellebuck just goes for 45 saves and you throw your hands in the air. So it's hard there. But I think I like the over slightly. As anything against the Lions. And then I'm more interested in getting a goal or a point bet in this one. I'm not sure where I'm going to find the right fit for me. The Gallagher, yes, point 129. I mean, after getting a egregiously bad call against him to not get that goal that would have really helped me in GPPs. He had 5 shots on net. I liked his over on the shots a lot in the last game, and I don't mind it here, but over 3.5 minus is not my favorite thing to put money on. It's just like, if I'm not getting great odds on it, like I'm not going to bet on that. It's just too much of a flip of the coin, and
I think the shot prop I like the most is Mark Scheifele, which gets us to probably some of the most DFS relevant news that we have. Pierre-Luc Dubois still on the top line with Scheifele and Wheeler for Winnipeg. You go out, you trade your superstar winger along with another disgruntled winger for a center, and you make that center into a winger. So I can't really see how that calculus works, but it worked against Vancouver for sure. That I think Dubois put up 2 points, maybe even 3, 2 goals and an assist, and 2 goals and an assist for him. Probably not in the cards again, but I think that with Dubois a passer and Wheeler at this point in his career a passer, Mark Scheifele over 2.5 shots plus 110. Sign me right on up. I really like that. I think him, and then I think Brendan Gallagher, if you're sort of riding the, maybe he sees 19 minutes quite type narrative for a point, he's minus 129. He's a really good player, net front guy. That's those are.
I love Mark Scheifele to get a point, but minus 225. I'm just like, why do it? Like, what's the point? Like
at that point,
I think those two are probably the best. Yeah.
Just play at that point instead of betting that number. Just go play 30% owned Pierre-Luc Dubois GPPs, and consider that your Mark Scheifele to get a point bet. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could just as easy just put all that money and just put it on Jack Hughes to score and like have way more fun. Like, I don't understand. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Like,
all right,
yeah, okay.
So
get to the last game, or
as far as sides here, I think I want to back Montreal. That's my lean here. I just think they're a better team.
Saying Montreal was terrible last time, you're just like, you know what? They got.
That's the thing with these Canadian teams. They're just like this. What's the Russian dolls, the Russian nesting dolls of bad teams. It's like, oh well, there's this bad team, and then you open it up, and oh my god, it's Vancouver, and then you open it up, and oh my god, like Winnipeg. Like, there's just so many bad teams up there that I just I think they get slaughtered by a good American team, just a USA type deal.
I don't know. I don't even. I looked them up and I don't even know. Matryoshka dolls. That doesn't sound right. I feel like I knew the name for them.
Strike. You know what, DJ? We're just gonna leave the listeners listening to you try to pronounce.
What are those dolls called? I mean, I really want to know.
I actually don't. I couldn't remember the word, but something like.
I feel like there's always just like every time I've seen them in like, because they were in like Family Guy. It's like, oh, they just say like, oh, like they're the Russian dolls, and I'm like, oh, what are those really called? And now I'm off track, and I don't mind this tangent because I really needed to know, and I feel better now. But we can get to Edmonton, Vancouver, unless if there's anything you wanted to add. But you've already kind of said you're taking Montreal side, and yeah. I think
we can go to the LA Hammer once again.
Get back on track.
Yeah, well, once again, we have the late hammer being Edmonton at Vancouver. Vancouver plus 115 home dogs. Edmonton minus 134. Now in this one, we saw Vancouver go way up early, and then we just saw them completely fall apart. So in response to that, can confirm. In response to that, Vancouver did shake things up pretty considerably. They appear to be setting up a shutdown line by moving JT Miller down to Brandon Sutter's line. To sort of go with that, they slid Niels Höglander up to the top line with Pettersson and Besser. Those are really the main spots you want to focus on. Like, can this newly focused shutdown line, let's call it, shut down Connor McDavid? And, does Niels Höglander up on the top line, just unlock the extra bit of value that sort of makes that like a premier DFS tournament type stack? DJ, what are your thoughts to the answer of those two questions?
Well, based off of Tuesday, Niels Höglander was my boy. I'm going back to it. I'm going right back to the well. I can't wait to have that Jack Hughes, Niels Höglander goal, both 320. That's the spice you come here for. They're both going to score. It's going to be great. I mean, do you want to go Niels Hoglander 2 goals at plus 1,700? Maybe not. Just the one I think is enough for me to really feel good about myself. But yeah, with that being said, I mean, do you have interest in maybe taking the JT Miller no point? Is that something you want to get crazy and go after, or at 6.5? Are you just like, what's the point?
Yeah, it's that's a very good call because one of the tenets that I usually come back to and just looking through these lines is, can I take advantage of usage? Can I take advantage of these line formations that these odds makers obviously aren't paying attention to? And the only problem with JT Miller is that he is such a key piece of that power play, not as a shooter, but just as a puck distributor. He's a lefty on the left side, passing to Quinn Hughes for one-timers and also Elias Pettersson for one-timers. Yeah. It's a little bit risky. However, I think if you are definitely in on Edmonton, but think that this game, hits the under, that JT Miller bet is as good a bet as any to sort of get some action on the under while leaving yourself a slight out if the game does go over. So right now, I don't think that's my favorite bet in this game, but certainly worth consideration. So,
do you want to know my favorite bet?
Is it Elias Pettersson?
Oh God, it could be, but I'm actually going to say Bo Horvat over 2.5 plus 100. He's probably in that Draisaitl matchup. They will give up a fair amount defensively. Draisaitl has actually been a decent bit better defensively this year than he has been in the past. He might just be kind of picking up on that, but I still like that Horvat line. He's going to be the primary shooter, I think, on it. So,
yeah, no. So Draisaitl's numbers are just insane. He's got like an 80% goals percentage at 5-on-5 this year, and like a 45% expected goals. So it's just like it's going to break at some point. And yeah, I do like Bo Horvat. Losing Höglander, gaining Jake Virtanen on that top line, it doesn't really change a whole lot for me. So I think given his power play role, given the context, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. I don't even. Yeah. My favorite bet from this game, I'm not sure. I said this last time too, like, if you like McDavid, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is doing the same thing. And, McDavid sort of showed us why sometimes that just can't be trusted. Now, of course, McDavid didn't smash or anything on Tuesday, but Ryan Nugent-Hopkins definitely, did not get there for us. So if you like Edmonton, plus 118 on Draisaitl and McDavid to score, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins shoots just as much as those two guys, plus 220. I just think that's where you want to bet. If it burns me for the second time in a row, maybe I just let it go. But I think the logic there makes sense. You look at all the underlying numbers, and McDavid is just as gifted a playmaker as he is a scorer. Obviously, we all know this. And Nugent-Hopkins is a very talented scorer himself. So I just think that's my favorite bet.
It's weird that he's plus 220 to score, and then you go down and look at his shots, and he's minus 225 to have over 2.5 shots. It's like, he's so likely to have at least 3 shots on goal. They're like, oh man, he probably has 3 or 4, and it's like, oh man, there's no way he could score against Braden Holtby. Like, oh man, we gotta, darn it. Like, I mean, yeah, I definitely agree with that. And he's probably your most expensive player on DraftKings and FanDuel against the odds, if you will. Like, if you want to build that spreadsheet, have fun with that. I think that's. He definitely. There's no way. He's far and away the best.
That's what I like here. So let's recap with some of our favorite bets. We have 10 games. If you're narrowing it down to, let's just say 2 bets, gun to head, this bet has to win, or else, you're not getting your second shot, DJ. You're not getting your second COVID shot. Who you take?
Oh, I was like, what shot? Am I getting drunk tonight? Let's get crazy. Okay. I mean, this time I'm going to do it right. I'm going to do one of the lines, and I'm taking the under, the Nashville Detroit under. Did I do that last time? Or did you do that? No, I don't know if I did. I think I took 2 player props, and I was like, also Nashville Detroit under. Like, I threw it in there. But this time I'm gonna get back on it, and then we're gonna have a lot of fun with that.
I dig it. My favorite bet is that Svechnikov shot prop. It's just, it makes too much sense. Mathematically, I love the pace, the game environment. So give me all the Andrei Svechnikov over 2.5 shots.
I was totally in on that one, but you know what? I'm going to do it. Get a little bit out there. You know what, bet? I'm going to stay here. Plus 320. No, it's not. It's Matt the Chuck. to have 2 points.
Okay.
So they're all 320. I don't know why 320 is so popular. There was literally Niles, Hughes, and
Hughes.
the Chuck. I mean, I think you put all 3 of those together, and maybe not Niles. Maybe you do. I don't know. And you just print. You just go to the mint and you print. It's gonna be great. And then you take all that money and you buy Top Shot cards. Just right down the line, and all of a sudden you have a savvy investment in something that doesn't exist. It's perfect.
All right. Let's see. For my second bet here, boy, I kind of want to go with this Brendan Gallagher point, minus 129. That just feels, it feels good. Anytime I can join team math without having to be too, over the, without having to bang the table and say he's going to play 15 minutes. Let's just hope that, this guy's going to come and use his main guys, and give me Brendan Gallagher to pick up a point in this one.
I'm in on it. So let's get over to the DraftKings, if you will, the lineups, if you're ready, and we can do a couple of our favorite stacks. If you want, I could get started. If you're ready, I can let you take one.
Yeah, I think the first stack I will mention here, I do like this top line in Columbus. Jack Roslovic below 5K. It's going to be on the top line, top power play. Didn't really smash alongside line A last game, but it's that'll happen. But that's also why he's 4.9. So I think he sort of puts up maybe a 20-pointer here. Gets us a real big score, maybe puts up a goal. And Cam Atkinson and Patrick Laine for 6.5 and 6.4. You look at the wings on this slate, they just all seem to be, overpriced relative to the value that those Columbus guys give you. So I think that's one of the main spots that I like.
No, definitely. I agree with that for sure. I personally not going to have a ton in that game, but if I do, it's going to be that Columbus side with that line because it's really, really good value. I'm trying not to pick this. I remember one of my stacks in the Morning Skate podcast. So I'm trying not to pick the same 2, and maybe I picked this one, maybe not. But based off of my bets, I'm going to go with it. The Matt Tkachuk, Lindholm, and Rasmus Anderson. Did I do that?
I like it. I don't think
I can't remember if I did it or not. I don't know if I did. I really
no, because you picked Tkachuk as your guaranteed goal. Remember?
Right. So I couldn't have. Perfect. Yep. All right. Yeah. I'm really big on that stack. That stack should come together. 5-on-5 power play. I mean, they kind of had a bit of a rotation on the top power play, but are we assuming, right, that it is Rasmus Anderson again?
Yeah, it's,
I believe.
Yeah, no, they've been using Anderson. They ran a spell of Valimaki, and that didn't really stick. So no reason to think it's not Rasmus Anderson. He's underpriced as well on DraftKings. So I like that value that stack offers you. For my second one, I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh top line: Sidney Crosby, Gensel, Kapanen. Again, they're just too cheap. Especially if we get some value out of Chris Letang's absence, maybe a Mike Matheson steps up to the top power play. Like that guy's been crushing it nightly for us. Price is on the rise, but again, the added benefit of Letang being out would be that all of those Pittsburgh guys sort of get a boost. So any one of those cheap defensemen, I think, also makes for a nice 4-man stack with that top line. If you want to hear a lot more about the DFS slate, check out the Morning Skate podcast. I will spoil one thing for you. Adam Boqvist to the moon, baby.
Yeah, just take them diamond hands to the moon if you do isn't that what they said? I think something about GameStop. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I think it's diamond hands. Yeah, the stonks. I never do that. Anyways, though, I'll have one more stack, so I'm gonna say my one more stack. I only said one of them. And you're just you're shutting down the show. I'm like, what's going on?
Did I? Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't get it. I'm going to go with one that I think is going to be a bit unique. Going back the other way against Montreal, I think a lot of people are going to be in on what happened last game with the Scheifele line. I kind of like the idea of going with Connor, Ehlers, and really either the defenseman in Pionk or what's his name, Morrissey. I think that, Pionk is a little bit expensive, so I don't know if I'm going to end up having it at 5,200 personally. It doesn't really matter because the power plays get all wonky anyways, but I think they have a good chance at scoring a couple at 5-on-5 and bringing it together. So maybe just a 2-man with those 2 line mates. And if you want to, again, it's all about getting a little contrarian. I think on this slate, I think it's going to be a lot of concentrated ownership on, McDavid's and the Pierre-Luc Dubois and stuff. So I'm going to try to just spread myself a little bit out there if I can. So I like those two together.
All right. So that's that's the 10 game slate here. There's a lot to sort through. Obviously, we would love to hear in the comments your favorite bets, your favorite DFS plays. Also, tweet at us. We love getting the interaction. I am at Fake Moods, and DJ's at DJ_Mitchell94. Anything else you want to say before we head off, DJ?
No, I think I'm good. We'll talk to you guys on Tuesday. Again, just keep reaching out, engaging. I mean, it's been just a growing and fun trend, and I get gaining more followers as I'm hitting some of these parlays. So just tail. I do not mind. I want to win all the money together, and we'll do it. Let's do it.
All right, yeah. So make sure you subscribe to the Mayo Media Network on the platform you are listening to this on, be it YouTube or be it a podcast app. We would love a 5-star review on your podcast app. Comments as well. Thumbs up on YouTube. Always like to see that as well. So as always, big thanks to our sponsor, Prize Picks. Use promo code MMN when you are signing up over there. And yeah, that'll do it from us. So I am Matt. That is DJ. Good luck on Thursday.